What do we know, everybody? It has been a good long while since I talked to you guys, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Been really busy, and the one thing I've been really busy with is we just had our second child about a month ago. Another little boy, Archie Theodore. So now little Jim has himself a little brother, and he is taken to his new role very well. It's pretty impressive. Never in my life would have thought he would be as gentle with this little baby as what he is, but this stuff must be hardwired in their DNA. It's really cool to see. But anywho, back to what we got going on here. You can see behind me I have a Ford LT9000, 1977, got the Cummins engine in it. Really cool truck. And the story I got about this thing is this truck had been in a wreck. So there's different parts of this thing that were just kind of pieced together between two trucks. Don't know how it was done. Don't care. But the reason I was here in the first place is this guy right here. Kenworth T800, got a Series 60 Detroit in it. Go to start it one day, wouldn't start. I come out, verified the starter was bad, got a new one coming, replaced the starter, put a brand new signal wire on it. Nothing. Pulled the starter back off, bench test it, nothing. So got a warranty starter in, put the new starter in it, everything worked. Great. Well, he wanted to haul some corn. So he started this bad girl up. She ran, and then she didn't. I'm going to show you guys kind of what I found. So I'm going to go over here to the driver's side. And the first thing I noticed when I showed up is this thing stunk. And it stunk bad of electrical problems. And you guys know that smell. You got electronics that are hot. You got melted wires. And that's what this smelled like. Open the door. I had nothing. No buzzer. No nothing this thing should have when the battery's on. Popped the hood. And starter was smoking. That's not a good sign. So I'm going to flip you around here. And it took about a day and a half to trace everything down to fix a lot of stuff. But I'll show you what all we did. So I started from the starter. Cables come underneath the cab, they go to the starter. Got your power cables, power cable, and this other cable here, and I'll show you what that goes to in a second. But when those two are hooked together, and I was running to a relay on the other side, I had power coming out of my ground cables. And this one is right off the block, and it was coming out of that one too. That's not good. But when I disconnected those two wires there, I had no power going through the block, which I figured. So we followed this back around, go back over the other side, and I'll show you some stuff. Okay, so I came to this side, pulled the airbox back, and now whatever, can't really see it, hooks to over here. But there's different wires here. Oh, I can't even see. Oh, I got it pulled up over there. So anywho, there was three wires over here. There's this one, and then the two that I got hooked up there. Well, I figured out after taking everything off over here, we had no problems. Hooking this one and that one up, no problems. So hooked that one to the other one, we had problems. So I followed that wire, or cable, or whatever you want to call it. And it goes down the driver's side of the engine, comes across the front of the engine, it comes down over here, and where are we at here? There we go. One's power, one's ground. That goes to the alternator, which I've already gotten out of there. This is really the joy of doing electrical work. You start from where the problem is and you work your way out. I know that there was a problem at the starter because it was smoking. So you start from the battery and I work my way around. Just keep connecting, disconnecting wires until I really trace down what the problem is. And what had ended up happening is something got screwed up in the internals of the alternator. It discharged, fried a lot of stuff, and it started shorting out through the alternator into the block, and the rest is really history. I mean, I am honestly surprised that this thing didn't catch on fire. That starter, when I was pulling the cables off of it, it was so darn hot. Even with gloves on, I was burning my fingers trying to get that stuff off. But our saga really doesn't end here. We'll go inside and I'll show you what I did there. So, I'd followed the wires up front to where they come in through the firewall. And I'd pulled everything apart just to double check the wires, double check fuses. Or not fuses, oh, fuses and breakers. Followed everything up here, followed everything around, same thing. I was connecting and disconnecting wires, making sure what was good, what was not good, and then fixing odd and end stuff. You can kind of see over here. Just, it's a mess, people. It is a mess. But right in here, that breaker is new. In here, that breaker is new. We had chewed through the wires because of mice. We had, is it up here? Yeah, you can see some of the work the mice did. I did have a burn up wire here, but apparently, is it down here? No. Ah, well. Long story short, we had burn up wires. We had wires that were shorted, wires the mice had chewed through, and wires that had too much power through it and burn everything up. And like I say, replaced both these breakers. I love electrical work. I love being able to do this, trace wires, figure these things out, but it is time consuming. Very time consuming. And this wasn't actually so bad. Figure out the main problem, and then you figure out what the main problem has caused. So, obviously, ruined the starter, bad alternator. I'm going to replace that cable that goes to the alternator. I've had to replace a bunch of wires in here, back behind the dash. It's a mess. Part of that was because of mice, and they just chewed through it. Probably wasn't causing an issue, but replaced it anyway. Part of it was fixing stuff that people had done before. There were wires that were just twisted together and black taped. A few wire nuts, things like that are no-nos in vehicles. And then obviously burn up wires. These breakers were shot. But everything is good now. Hook everything up. Everything works like it's supposed to. So, should have new starter, new alternator in here in a couple of days. I do got the new cable. Well, we'll put everything in when it gets here. But this has been pretty crazy. But these things happen. I mean, it was a bad week. Starter went out in the Kenworth. And then everything went to pot on this one. I mean, these things happen. It sucks. But this is what you get. These things don't last forever. They do break down. These things happen. I've seen starters discharge like that before and fry a bunch of stuff. Thank goodness this is an older truck, so it isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it's not like you're frying ECMs and all sorts of sensors and modules and things like that. So, did come out on top on that one. Just a lot of labor in this deal, chasing wires. Oh well. But at any rate, guys, I hope you enjoyed this short little video and an explanation of where I've been. And like I say, I enjoy making these things. Hopefully I can make more. I've been busy, been working on a lot of stuff, but just haven't had a lot of time. But at any rate, guys, as always, I thank you guys for watching.